Hello again. This is an international call with our friends from Israel and Iran, presently in Cyprus. This is Lital and Vinas. Let's share their campaign. It's called Support Stateless Family, and let's see what is all about. Let me share the screen and their campaign.
Hi, my name is Lital and I was born in Israel.
Hi, my name is Vinas and I was born in Iran.
This is a call for help.
Lital and I fell in love 2 years ago and realized we want to spend the rest of our life together.
We got married 1 year ago, but since I'm an Israeli and Vinas is an Iranian, we cannot settle down in either of our countries.
It's a terrible feeling to know that we don't have a home just because we love each other.
We are currently seeking asylum in Cyprus. I never imagined being homeless, living in the street, in the cold, in the rain or in the heat. Today, we are left trying to survive.
We are positive people, but live in a negative world. All we want is a place we can call home.
In order for us to get out of this situation, we need resources to help us build our lives. We are decent, hardworking people, and as Vinas said, positive.
We have no money to hire a lawyer to help us.
We are not permitted working regular jobs simply because we are asylum seekers.
We cannot build a home or even have children because our future is uncertain.
If you support us, we can get out of this impossible situation.
If you help us, we can start our journey to a simple life together.
If you support us, we can have the basic freedoms that every human being deserves in the world.
If you support us, we can start a home and family.
Please consider donating any amount to us.
We really appreciate the time you took to hear us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we heard the story. Let me just, for our viewers, say that I know Lital from several years ago, from the Rainbow Movement, from the families we were all together, from Turkey and so on, from the Balkan gatherings and so on. And I sympathize and solidarize with what is happening to you. So I just wanted to reach an arm from here, from Macedonia, and saying that we support you, and somehow to reach further with what's going on to our friends of social milieu, to spread the word for you. So hello to this podcast, Lital. Hello, Vinas.
Hello, Kirill. Thank you for having us.
Hello, Kirill.
So let us, for our viewers, Lital, I'm sorry, you are from Israel and Vinas is from Iran. Let me explain, because I was working in 2015 on the border when there was a refugee kind of crisis, the crisis of humanitarianism with people from Syria. Like 1 million people went by. So there was this problem with the borders. So your situation is not like the refugees, but we have some sort of problems. Let me say from my experience from the past with, I don't know, I remember one friend from Germany told me that, for example, if he wants to go to Iran and he gets a visa, Iranian, then with this passport, he cannot get entry into Israel. And vice versa. If you get a visa from Israel, with this passport, it's simply not possible to go to Israel. It's now the situation with you is you are married all together, want to have a family, but you cannot travel together either in Israel and in Iran. Could you please explain what is going on and why is this happening? This is totally illegal from many perspectives. You are now in Cyprus. Lital, Vinas, please tell me what is going on. What is the situation now?
We got married, sorry. Vinas and I met in Turkey and about 2 years ago, and we are together ever since. Because of the law in Israel and because of the law in Iran, we cannot enter our country together. We traveled several countries that both of us could enter on a tourist visa, and we reached Cyprus where we applied for asylum. We are asylum seekers in Cyprus for 1.5 years now in a very difficult conditions. And we decided to share our story in order to change the situation. Processing the asylum request in Cyprus is known to take many years. And we are searching for a country that will accept us as we are.
Okay, like I was, I haven't read like laws from Israel, but you shared with me an article where originally this law was about humans from Palestinians, I believe, and later on, like Israeli and Palestinian, if they are married, they cannot enter into Israel, something like this. But then this law was extended for enemy countries, I believe. Let me just show the law here. So there are several versions of this law. I believe this is the one, nationality and entry into Israel law. Probably this is the one. Lital, could you please comment on this law?
Yes, of course. To be more clear, generally, when a foreign citizen is marrying an Israeli citizen, he can receive a status in Israel on over a 7 years process. In 2003, they made a law, a temporary law, that is being renewed every year ever since, that Palestinians who marry Israeli citizens will not get a status in Israel. A few years after, they added to this temporary law also citizens of enemy countries, and among them Irani citizens. And now we are in this situation where there is actually a law stating that any requests from Iranians will be completely denied.
I see. So it's kind of very complicated. You are at this moment in Cyprus. Like we also talked that, for example, going to Turkey legally, it's not possible, or maybe in Greece, because you already have your passports in the office where you asked for asylum. So how long is this process going on already? This is already for 1 year and a half or something, yeah?
Yes, we are in the status of asylum seekers in Cyprus. This is actually the same status that we have since we applied for asylum in January 2019. Our status is that we are waiting for a government interview that will determine our status in this country. As asylum seekers, we are not allowed to leave the country. Our passports are with the Asylum Service of Cyprus. And we are stuck here.
You're stuck there. So like, for example, you want to move together, you don't want to separate, and this is your what you're doing. But when you go together, you have this problem of legality with the I'm sorry to say, stupid passports, stupid documents, and stupid borders. Now, You told me also that before coming to Cyprus, you were, when you came to Cyprus, you were living as a homeless for several months. Maybe this was, what is the status now? Where are you now? You need not only legal support, but you also need material support. So this is why we share the crowdfunding campaign. So anybody out there that can hear us to reach and support you. Could you please explain what is the situation in Cyprus now for you? Yeah.
Yes. As asylum seekers in Cyprus, we are not permitted to work in regular jobs. We are unemployed and we are not supported by the country's welfare system. In the first year in Cyprus, we were actually homeless. Homeless, outside, on the street, with no friends to sleep on their couches. We survived like this 1 year in the rain, in very difficult conditions and situations that we met when we were outside. We tried to change this situation by contacting all the relevant offices and NGOs, but it was just like this. In Cyprus, there are thousands of thousands of asylum seekers who are like us waiting for an interview. Most of them, of course, are unemployed. We survived. We were skilled survivors, and we got very creative. We with the kind help of humanitarian organizations in Cyprus, such as the Red Cross. We were receiving some vegetables donation at the vegetable bazaar at the end of the day. And at one point, we had encountered with the police. We were staying outside. And after that, we actually received a temporary room to live in. So at the moment, we do have a roof over our heads. This is a temporary arrangement. We are uncertain for how long we have it.
Yes.
We are still not supported by the welfare for living expenses. We are not receiving food coupons or pocket money in any way. And we are still relying on donations from several organizations.
Yes.
And this is our situation. We are struggling to survive. We don't like it, but we are relying on donations. Yeah. We are not permitted to work. When we were in other countries, we used to work making handicrafts, traditional crafts, and we used to sell them and to teach people how to make. And in Cyprus, this is not allowed. So we are actually in a very impossible situation where we cannot support ourselves and we are not supported by the government. And there is no date in the near future or at all for when they will process our asylum claim to change this situation.
What do you think? I don't know the situation in Israel. Is it possible that something changes, like without change of this law, it's not possible to go together in Israel? This is not possible. And then if you don't want to stay in Cyprus, then what next? Like maybe go to Greece, go to Turkey. It's a little bit difficult situation now with the air travel and so on. But you want to go together to get documents and move in another country, or I don't know. Like, for example, this process with the asylum takes so long. It's 1.5 years already. And maybe, maybe it will happen this month, maybe the next month. But like you are in an uncertain situation now. What would you do now? Like,
So first you asked if it's going to change in Israel.
Yeah.
I've consulted human rights lawyers and immigration lawyers for Israel, and unfortunately, we cannot be an exception to this law. A relationship or marriage doesn't fall under the category of a humanitarian exception. So we don't have this choice. We also, for sure, cannot afford the lawyers needed to apply to the Supreme Court in Israel. A move that I also don't know if will have any results in our direction. Beside from this, you spoke about changing country. Like I said, at the moment, we are unable to travel at all. The only way to maybe receive our passports back would be to cancel the asylum request. And still we don't know if we will receive the passport back and where we go. Unfortunately also, because we applied in Cyprus, in the Republic of Cyprus, which is a country in the EU, we are unable to move to any other European country.
Because
And one more thing I said, as an Iranian, it's for me it's I will be in a danger if I release my asylum claim. Cyprus will give back my passport or any document while they are deporting me to the Iran, and this is very big problem, and it's will put me in a danger because of I asked for asylum and I'm in which this is will put me in a persecution situation, and it's very dangerous for me. Also, my passport is expired already. It's expired and need to be renewed. And I'm not sure that this kind of document, the passport that I gave to asylum service, will be given back to me in any way. But anyway, if I will have it, it's not impossible to use it or renew it because it's already expired. And for me, it put me in danger.
Do you have to go to Iran to renew the passport, or you can do it from here? Do you know this?
I don't have any idea about this, that I can do it in the
so as I understand
Iran embassy, as Iranian, but as an Iranian, I'm not allowed to go to the embassy because I asked for asylum, and I go to the embassy and tell them,
I see.
Yeah, to renew the passport is impossible also.
I understand. So if you go to the embassy, then if you say you ask for asylum, there will be problems for you. Understand? Okay. So you say also that the Cyprus authorities, if you ask for the document, they also might deport you to Iran. Yes, if you say, give me back the document.
Yes, because this would be renouncing the asylum request.
Okay, it's a very difficult situation. I don't know really how can, I would like to support you somehow. So the least I can do is to spread the word around, and we will see with the video. Okay, we explained a little bit of the story, what's going on, and I don't know if you want to add something more. Other than that, I think for the podcast, it's enough information. And you are presently in Cyprus. You're waiting for the outcome. There is this stupid Dublin Accord also, like if you apply in the first country of entrance in Europe for any documents, then you are not allowed to go in any other country, I don't know, Spain, Italy, Greece, or whatever, and apply for documents there. Because like if Spain or Italy don't like something about you, they can return you to the first country of entrance. And this is some sort of protection for the countries of European Union between each other. And this was also a problem when this refugee crisis in 2015 was, but this is completely different. You are not refugees running from war. You are in a completely different situation. I don't know, what is your intuition? What do you think it's the best thing for you to happen this? Like, if you get the asylum, this would be a good thing to go on in this direction.
If we get the asylum, Cyprus is also known for processing everything very, very, very slow. So we heard that even people that got to the interview, they are still waiting for answers for almost 1 year. We heard that people that were recognized as refugees were still not given the documents, the travel document and the local ID. And people that are here for over 15 years still waiting for the citizenship.
Okay.
So our first choice is to leave Cyprus, if it's possible. But like we explained in this very deep bureaucratic mud that we are in, our situation is very complicated. And we are trying to leave Cyprus in legal ways. We're searching for connections in UN, UNHCR, in immigrations, in governments of other countries, so we can be moved as asylum seekers, or if needed later on as recognized refugees, or even right now in any way a country that will give us residency on the way to become a citizen, that we can move and start our.
One more thing I add, in Cyprus, another problem that we have, is this, that we are not allowed to work in our skill. We have some things that we can do, but Cyprus doesn't allow us to work in that skill jobs, the jobs that we know already and we do. They are not, they push us also to change our opinion and our lifestyle, and this is what one of the reasons that we are not getting benefit from the welfare, because of they are not respecting our opinion and our lifestyle, and they are not allowed us to work in our skill.
So you are not allowed to work in Cyprus because of your lifestyle, how you do things. I mean, you are really facing so many difficulties with these stupid laws around these bordering countries, European, Israel, Iran. It's a total cacophony. And I'm very sorry about this, but I hope that something will come up of this. At least you are together, there is love, and you met together, and at least this is something to hold on. So hopefully, I hope that something will come out. I will try, I don't know, Macedonia is not very far. I don't know what will happen. We are on the line, so anything that I can do to support and help, I'm here. At least I will spread the word, so we will see what will happen. Okay, I think that we will do a wrap up. I think it's enough for our public, and we now know you, people who will watch the video. So we will continue with our communication. I will ask you if you have something to to at the end to say, and more or less I will finish the video.
We want to say that obviously the problem is between governments and not between the people. And we are simple people. We are not into politics. We are not activists ourselves, but just happened that policies are now a big challenge in our personal lives. And we hope that people will show solidarity, will share our story, will support us through the Support Stateless Family campaign, so that we can get a lawyer to assist us on every move that we make. And hopefully our next update will be from a better place.
Okay, thank you so much, Venus. Thank you so much, Lital, and we are here for further support.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you.